Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the first time that I'm going to do a January recap. I've been pondering about things I want to do on the channel, and among them, rather than do the goals that I want to achieve in a month, I want to take the last day of the month and tell you about what I was able to achieve during the month. Versus the other type of accountability, this just shows that I am progressing. There's things to do, stuff to handle, but getting it done. So it was a busy month. It's a long month. It always feels like a long month. It's winter. It's gray. It's kind of weird, unless you live in Australia because it's summertime for you, or in the southern hemisphere. Still, I live in Atlanta, and so it is in that gray hue, which is. Although it has been a very, very, very mild winter, with the exception of like 2 or 3 weeks. Everything else has been like 50s, maybe 40s, maybe. Anyways, I digress. Rather than digress, let's talk about what I've been able to do. So, during this month, I was able to sit down with Jim Nettles on the Creating Pros chat, and we talked about language. We talked about language and translations and the importance of when you translate whatever you're going to translate. Because it is a very complex thing. There are some things that don't translate. There are so many things that don't translate exactly. There are a lot of nuances, and there's things that you have to avoid. People have asked me if I would translate a book. I don't offer those services just because the cost of it is prohibitive, and I feel bad telling people what it actually costs. But to give you an example, translating about 10,000 words, if you were to go by industry standards for advertising, 10,000 words, that would be about $3,000 to $4,000. So try to imagine a novel. Yeah, you would have to give like either a bulk discount or something like that. I don't know. It is very expensive, but there are ways that you can go about it. I'm not going to say cost efficient ways, and I'm not going to go more in depth. I'm going to leave the links down below to everything that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to leave the links down below. So that was one of the things I did. I participated in Go Indie Now's This Week in Indies January 15th show. That's also going to be down below. I gave my first virtual poetry workshop to the Washburn School back home in Puerto Rico, in the town of Salinas. Thank you to Angelin Cian for the invitation. That was pretty awesome. Pretty special. I was a little bit nervous. Because it's the first time that I did a workshop via Zoom to like 3 classrooms, and I was very conscious of the time, so I was like but it was fun. I was able to talk a little bit about poetry, and I did a little bit of a workshop so that the students could start developing their own wicked rhymes from my rhymes from the Wicked Nursery. Well, that was cool. It was very cool. I did host last week's This Week in Indies. We were talking about when your work is done. The lovely Jennifer Jimenez, from whom I met through Instagram, a fellow author, fellow poet. I'm doing Writer Wednesdays, and she asked, "How do you know when your work is done?" So I took it to the panel. We had a lovely discussion. There's more to talk about, so I'll probably do videos on that as well. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I am progressing in terms of writing. I am progressing in edits and covers for the second volume of the Daydreams on the Sherbet Shore, and my dark short story collection in Spanish. Yeah, aggressive goals this year, but we're focused. I still have to do the work, have to do the legwork, and get it done. But progress is being made. I'm very happy with the work that's being done, and the dynamics that I'm having with the different cover artists. I'm very thankful for that. I've also been participating on Mondays. I've missed two, but for the last couple of weeks, the Writing Tribe on Facebook, they host late night writing sprints. And I normally join in for like one because I have to go to sleep and do my wind down routine so that I can get a nice sleep and be functional the next day for work. That's been a lot of fun, and I've met a lot of interesting and lovely people. I wrote 2 blog posts that I published. I've written 3 others that I'm still editing and tweaking and doing stuff like that. It's different topics. We'll talk more about that later. And yes, we will talk about that later. So I did those videos. I did 4 videos, and some of the Writer Wednesdays I uploaded on YouTube as well. And I've done several shorts, either the Double O Bananas or the Tasty Tuesday Taste Test. It's a lot of fun. People seem to enjoy it. It's curious because I get to try a lot of random stuff, and what gets traction and what gets people interested in one social media platform is a dud elsewhere. So that's super weird. What else did I do in terms of writing? I wrote several poems, which was pretty cool, and that's just going to be an invitation to transcribe and then start planning my next collections in English and Spanish. I did a review of Manute Bol's Metamorphosis. It's a Spanish rock album. I know Manu from a place where we worked together but not together because he was always in another office. It was the same company, but it was another office. Super nice guy, super peculiar approach vocally. I dig it. I think it's very interesting, so I'm also going to leave the link to that review down below. I reviewed Hollow Knight on Go Indie Now's Fresh Buttered Popcorn blog, and there's another video game review that's coming up shortly, and there's a dual review that I'll be sharing that I did with the wonderful Joe Compton, my brother from another mother. So yeah, that's where I'm at. In terms of reading, I've progressed in the books that I'm reading. I'm still reading Only Human. I picked up Faust in Spanish. It's a heavy read in terms of just dense. It's all dialogue because it's a play. And I'm also pecking away at Prime Verse. I'm about 75% done with that one. So that means I'm 0% for my Goodreads goal. But I do have, I did want some longer books this year. Only Human is almost 500 pages. Fausto is almost 500 pages. Prime Verse is almost 300 pages. So I want to have that tendency. I'm probably going to shift to some poetry or something that's a little lighter, just so that, competitively speaking, I'm okay. What else? Yeah, I'm going to be participating in a couple of live shows in February and March. And I haven't done the blog post to officially announce, but I will be participating in the Puerto Rico Comic Con 2023 edition. And I'm pushing to have a lot of books and a lot of new stuff. So that's about it. It's not a bad month. And this is me with the day job and just pushing through because January, again, is such a peculiar month. That's about it. I've been watching some TV and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I'll ever talk about or go in depth in the vlog about the movies and the TV shows that I'm watching. But if you want to have an idea of what I'm watching, on Instagram I post either movies or shows that I've been watching. A highlight that I recently watched was Until the Wheels Come Off, which is a documentary of Tony Hawk. It is intense that you think sometimes some people are so good that you think that it comes easy to them, and that documentary shows that Tony's paid the price and then some, and then some, and then some. To achieve his level of greatness. Definitely recommend that. I've also watched some chats with Rodney Mullen. Very inspirational stuff. Might link it down below just for your entertainment. and to see if we can discuss that. I think that would be interesting to discuss that. Anyways, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Oh, I did apply, and hopefully I'll get accepted to the Author Tube Writing Conference, and I am still working on 2 short stories. Oh wait, there's stuff that I forgot to mention. I'm still working on 2 short stories to submit to a Spanish anthology, and I finished a short story that I had pending for the longest time. There's another project that I'm working on here and there for English short stories, speculative. Oof, what a word to try to record at this hour. Speculative. If you say it with a British accent, it's easier. Speculative fiction. That was better. So speculative fiction. Just because it's not just one genre. I'm touching on several genres and stuff that I've been meaning to write for the longest time. So yeah, in terms of the daydreams on the Sherbet Shore, I'll leave you with this. So how intense are the edits? Basically, I am switching all verb tenses from past to present. So yeah, that's gonna take a while, but it does help me get in the groove. I just feel that writing in the present tense is more akin to, more aligned with the style that I'm writing at now. Who knows? Have you ever shifted from one verb tense to the other in terms of what you're writing? Let me know. That would be an interesting conversation to have. Anyways, I shall not dilly or dally or prolong this any longer. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that I mentioned, by all means check down below, and there are links to all that stuff, or just use that sexy comment section and leave me a comment. So till next time, much love, thanks for watching, peace, love, and maki rolls.